Hello everyone. In last video, we were discussing the classification of systems. So continuing that, the next classification of systems can be into a causal system or non-causal system. So how we define that? A system is said to be causal if the output of the system at any instant or time depends on the present or the past inputs, but it does not depend upon the future values of the inputs. So that system is called as a causal system. But if the system's output depends upon the future values of input, then we say it is a non-causal system. The other name for this is the causal systems are also called as non-anticipatory, and non-causal systems are called as anticipatory. As we know, the anticipation, that is, we anticipate something that what will happen. Based on that, the term is anticipatory. So if we are anticipating the future inputs and then the output is determined, then we say it is non-causal. But if we cannot do that, that it is non-anticipatory, then we say the system is causal system. So that is the simple definition of causal or non-causal system. Let us take some of the examples for that. But before that, earlier what we studied was static or dynamic system. And in static system, the output was depending only on the present input. Here in causal, we are saying present or past. It may be both. It may be either one of them. But in static, it was only present. So all static systems are causal systems. But all causal are not necessary to be static system. Further, these causal systems are physically realizable. That is, we can implement them. But non-causal systems are not physically realizable. Now, for example, the system is say YT is this. That is the relationship between output and the input. Now, if we check the values of output at any instant, it will be x here 0, x of minus 1. So it is depending on present and past. If I take minus 1, again it is present and past. If we take and say 5, I am taking that because it is greater than this 4 changeover point. So this is x here 5 plus x1. So in every case, it is depending on present or past. So in that case, this system is a causal system, right? So that is how we check that. Let us take another system. Yt equals to say is x of 2 minus t plus x of t minus 1. Now if we check what is y0, it is x of 2 plus x of minus 1. So it means now to determine the output at the instant 0, we require the input at t equal to 2 and minus 4. So 2 means it requires at the future. So in that case, the system is a non-causal system. So the same way we can check for discrete system. There is a simple rule is that if the output of the any system, whether continuous or discrete, depends on present or past values of input, it is causal. If it depends on future values, it is non-causal. So that was the classification of systems into causal or non-causal systems. Moving next, the next classification of system can be a stable or unstable system. Now, stability of any system is very, very important aspect, but it depends upon the different systems that how you check the stability. There are different criteria to define the stability, different methods to evaluate the stability of the system. And when we talk about stability over here, what we say is that the system is said to be BO stable. BIBO stable means a system is said to be bounded input, bounded output stable if a system produces a bounded output for a bounded input. That is the simple definition, that any system which produces a bounded output for a bounded input is stable. If it does not produce that, it is unstable. Now, what we mean by bounded input or bounded output or any bounded signal? Bounded signal means that the magnitude or the amplitude of the signal is bounded. It has got some minimum and maximum value, not on the time axis. The signal may exist from minus infinity to plus infinity, but its magnitude is bounded between some minimum and maximum value. So that is the bounded signal. So mathematically, what we say, if for an input xt whose magnitude is some finite value less than infinite and is less than equal to bx magnitude, so it means it can be any minus bx to plus bx. So that can be anything. It's not necessarily minus negative value. It can be 0 and plus 5 also, but it is bounded. Then and it produces the output yt, which is also bounded, which is also finite. Then we say the system is stable. So same case is whether it is continuous time or discrete time. So it can be xn is bound finite. It produces a yn which is finite. Then we say the signal is system is stable. Now let us look at the examples of first bounded signals. So if you look at a pure sinusoidal signal, it has got some maximum magnitude, some minimum value. So the magnitude is bounded. Same way, if we look at this signal, it is having some maximum value, but it might be going to infinite. This is also going to infinite, right? But its magnitude is maximum value is some constant a, and minimum will be 0. Right? It might be touching at the infinite, but it will be having some minimum value. So it is not plus infinite or minus infinite value. So this is a bounded signal. But at the same time, if the signal is like this, growing exponentially, it is continuously growing. So at infinite, the magnitude will become infinite. So this is unbounded. Same way, if we have this signal, which is exponentially growing continuously with time, so at some point, this magnitude will become infinite. So we say that these signals are unbounded. Now let us take the example to understand how we check whether the system is stable or not. Suppose we have any system which is given as, say, yt equals to e raised to power xt. Now we say what the input which we apply, its magnitude can be something like that, a. That is, its maximum value will be plus 8, minimum value will be minus 8. And correspondingly, if we put the different values of xt over here, the minimum value corresponding to xt, output value will be e raised to power minus 8. And the corresponding to the maximum value of xt, the output would be e raised to power. So we can say that yt magnitude would be e raised to power this mod 8, or we can say this would be e raised to power minus 8 to e raised to power. So it is bounded. So for bounded input, it is producing the bounded output. So this system is stable. That is how we can check the stability of any system. But suppose the system is suppose the system, let us say discrete system, yn, it is 2 raised to power n u, right? Or 2 raised to power u n un, or 2 raised to power n times xn. That is the input is xn. So now xn magnitude is bounded. It is minus 8 to 8 again. Now if we take that, xn value is always less than or equal to 8, minus 8. But at n equal to, whether it is n equal to 0, n equal to 1, n equal to infinite, n equal to minus infinite, In all the cases, the magnitude will remain same, 8. Of anything between -8 to 8, that magnitude will be this. Signal can extend from plus infinity to minus infinity. And at that time, if we see this yn, this is product of 2 raised to n into this. At n equal to infinite, this will become. Now this value would be anything between -8 to 8, but 2 raised to infinite will be infinite. So in that case, for a bounded input, the output is unbounded. So it means this system is unstable. So that is how we can check whether the system is stable or unstable. So that was the next classification of system. Moving in the same category, the last classification category of systems is we can classify any system into invertible or non-invertible systems. Now what we mean by invertible? Invert means we can invert back. That is, if there is a system where the relationship between output and input is unique. Remember, unique. That is, there is a unique relationship between output and input, and we can determine the input back from the output by devising some another system. That system is called as invertible system. Means if there is a system, we are giving some input xt, we are getting y. Now we have some another system. If we give now input yt, we will get back our original xt. So then this system is called as the invertible system, that it can be inverted. But if there is no unique relationship, we will not get the same output back. Then we will say this is non-invertible system. So it means if yt is t of xt, some kind of transformation, and we have t inverse of this system, we apply on this yt, we get back our xt, we say it is invertible. Like if we take the example, suppose there is a system, simple system, yt is 2 times xt, that every input is multiplied by 2. Now what we know, that this is multiplied by 2. Now if we divide back yt by 2, we will get back our original xt. So it means this system can be inverted back, so this is invertible system. But if the system is yt equals to x square t, now what will happen? Now for plus 2 value, the output will be 4. For minus 2 also this will be 4. So when the output is 4, if I take the square root of this output, I would get the plus minus value of the input. So if I have the output 4, I will get the 2 values, plus 2 and minus 2. So I am not getting the unique same output. I may have given 2, got 4, but here I am getting plus minus 2. So I am not getting the unique same output, because this relation is not unique, right? So that it can have 2 values. So that is why this system would be non-invertible and this system would be invertible. So that is how we can classify the system into invertible or non-invertible system. So this is all about the classification of systems. So we have studied now what is system, how we define system, what are the different properties of system based on which we can classify the system into different categories. So we will stop over here. With this we will finish this topic of systems, and in next video we will start with convolution. Thank you.